Hey friends, it's Colleen Yanez here from Key Coaching. One of the things that I hear over and over from parents is how can I get my teen or tween to be more independent? And I think that is an excellent question. And sometimes it's a really hard one to answer. There's a few parts to that. The first part is looking at ourselves. What do we do as adults that we could hand off to teens and tweens to help them to build those skills towards independence? The other piece to look at, and this is where I spend a lot of my time, is looking at executive functioning. And executive functioning, if we think of it, it's like the control center for the brain. And it's everything from task initiation to working memory, prioritization, organization, planning, time management, all of those things that really impacts how a teen or tween approaches or doesn't approach something that they're dealing with or managing in their life. I think when we build those foundational skills, such as their executive functioning, and we look at what is their biggest challenge and we go to work on that, our teens and tweens start to develop confidence. And when they develop confidence, they start to take more risks, both academically and socially. And I'm not talking about, like going skydiving kind of risks or, silly teen things. I'm talking about the risks like, oh, okay, I can start this project and not worry about what may or may not happen on the other side. Or, oh, wait, I do actually know how to do more things in school than I realize. And that kind of stuff goes a long way. So right now, when I'm recording this, it is currently it is currently summer. And summer is a fantastic time to build up skills like executive functioning. Now, for a lot of people, summer is a time to just turn it off. The school year is intense. There's a lot going on. And if your teen or tween really does struggle in the area of executive functioning, then you probably did a lot more than you wanted to regarding homework and talking with teachers and managing schedules and all those things that just go on and on and on, and really have an impact on our just like emotional well-being. And so sometimes summer comes and it's like, I'm done. We're just going to take the summer off, do whatever. But really, if we look at it differently, there's a much different way to go about it. So I put together this screen-free activity book for teens and tweens. And here's the sneaky fact about it. It is all building executive functioning skills. There are things that we do every day that need executive functioning that is actually fun. So I'm going to talk through a few of those with you. I'm going to give you these in a link below for free. So just enjoy. And really think about, okay, what do each of these activities have to do with school? Directly, nothing. But when you think about 11 executive functioning skills, and I'm just going to read those off. So response inhibition, being flexible, ooh, that's huge. Sustained attention, right? Task initiation, working memory, emotional control. Those are our foundational executive functioning skills. And then once those are not like in check, like it's going to be perfect, but once we have those developed, the next level, our advanced executive functioning skills are planning and prioritization, time management, metacognition, organization, and goal-directed persistence. All of those things you do every single day. But if your teen or tween is sitting on the couch and waiting for you to do their laundry and cook dinner and plan everything, then they are not exercising those skills that they really can. So one of the first things I have in there is to organize a game night. Now, that's not just like, hey, let's play Monopoly, because that's fun too. That's, can be goal-directed persistence. I remember Monopoly games that took hours. But what we want to think about is having your teen or tween come up with a few people they want to invite, put together a series of games, 2 or 3, maybe 4 different games. They can also incorporate snacks, because that's a huge part of game night. It's all the social parts of it. And then extending that invitation. So, hey, sister, brother, mom, dad, or neighbor, friend, whomever, do you want to participate in a game night? Now, what they're doing, they're starting the task. They have to plan it out. They have to know how to manage their time. They have to do things in a timely manner. All kinds of things are going into them planning something that's really fun. And the sneaky part is when they do that, they're strengthening those executive functioning skills. Another idea is to go on a mini photo safari. Now, if you saw from the beginning, it's a screen-free-ish, right? Because some parts will have to use a little bit of a screen. However, in this photo safari, teens or tweens are going to turn off they're going to put it on airplane mode. So the phone is not involved, it's just their camera. They're going to pick one of the themes that I put into the book, and they are going to go on a photo safari around town or around your neighborhood, whatever, you feel safest with them doing. And they're going to take at least 15 pictures focusing on a theme. Now, what they do with that when they're done, they can add more to that, such as making a collage, putting together a slideshow, making a poster, or doing nothing with it. But the idea is to focus with that goal-directed persistence, to get out into nature, get off their screens, directly get off their screens, and go out and really be thinking about how to follow through with these themes so that they are, again, strengthening those executive functioning skills. The next one might seem a little bit counterintuitive, but if you think about it, it's actually huge, and that is to bake cookies. Baking cookies, following a multiple steps in directions, in order, doing it correctly, can be tough, especially for somebody who has working memory issues. Following any kind of a recipe is huge. And again, you have to set a goal, you have to persist, you have to stick with it. You have to be flexible, because sometimes you screw things up. Every time I go to bake cookies, I forget that I was supposed to soften the butter. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to make my cookies. And then I remember I'm supposed to leave this out for like an hour. So I had to be flexible and to figure that out. But for teens and tweens that have never followed a recipe, they don't bake cookies, this is a massive skill for them. And it creates such a great way to strengthen those executive functioning skills in a low risk situation. There's a couple different types of activities. These are adventures, and so on the back, then they get to rate their cookies, they get to draw what they liked about it and do some reflection, and that's kind of fun as well. And the final one I pulled out that I think is kind of interesting is to build a Rube Goldberg machine. Now, I'd heard about Rube Goldberg. I really didn't know what that machine was. But it's one of those things where you start here and one action sets off a series of actions. Now, if you can imagine the amount of planning, persistence, emotional control that goes into doing an activity like that, like a lengthy one, things are going to go wrong. Things are going to flop over. The dog's going to walk in. A sibling's going to walk in. But those are the kinds of things, again, that really, really help teens and tweens strengthen those executive functioning skills. This one also comes with a reflection activity on the back, and it has them draw out their reaction. So that's just a little bit. I have over 50 activities I put in the book. And while great, I hope that you enjoy the activities and that sort of thing, but really think about those things in your own life, day to day, right now, that teens and tweens can do when they're off of school, low pressure, low risk, to really start to build out those executive functioning skills. And you, as a parent, you get to step back. They are going to make mistakes. The cookies will probably flop. I don't know how many batches I've made in my life that have melted all over the pan, or I forgot some ingredient, and that's how I learn. And there's this, just sort of thinking in the background that I see and hear all the time that we don't want our kids to fail, which of course we don't. We don't want them to feel bad or fail, but failure really does build up resilience. It builds up that just sense of, okay, it's not so bad to be imperfect, and it's okay to make mistakes, and especially in these like who cares kind of a thing. Um, those are the perfect times to do it. So I hope you have a great time. Enjoy the cookies, have a fun game night, and I'd love to see any photos from those photo safaris.